Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining our webinar on business process automation within Office 365 Internet. I'm Sudhi Gumi, the Director of Marketing at BizPortal Solutions, and I'm joined by my colleague Anil Gursahani, who's our Solutions Lead at BizPortals, and we're both very excited to have you for today's webinar. So many of you are familiar with what an Office 365 Internet is and what its capabilities are. We will get into more of that, what an Office 365 Internet is for those of you not familiar. But in short, an Office 365 Internet is really a modern internet and digital workplace solution for your company-wide document and content management, forms management, project management, and overall communication and collaboration. It houses everything you, your team, and company work on in one streamlined and organized. But for today's webinar, we'll be focusing on using an Office 365 Internet to automate your business processes. And when I say business process automation, I mean digitizing and automating your repetitive and manual forms, workflows, and tasks across your business. So we're going to show you what an Office 365 Internet is and the types of tasks and workflows that can easily be automated with an Office 365 Internet. So that is the goal of today's webinar. So with that, let's jump into the agenda. First, we're going to give you a quick introduction to our presenters and company. Second, we will talk about business process automation and the specific types of tasks, workflows, and processes that can be automated with an Office 365 Internet. We will also talk more about what an Office 365 Internet is, the built-in tools and integration it has for business process automation, and options on how to get started if you're on or looking to move to Office 365. Then Anil will show you real-life examples of business process automation on an Office 365 Internet with the demo of our BizPortals 365 product. BizPortals 365 is a comprehensive, ready-made, and business-enabled internet solution for Office 365, and it has built-in business process automation that's ready to use for your most common business needs. So we'll be showcasing what that looks like. Finally, we will have minutes for Q&A at the end, but please ask questions throughout the presentation. If we can't get to your presentation, certainly with you via email. Please note that your microphone is on mute, so please use the chat inside the GoToWebinar toolbar to ask your questions. So for some quick introductions, again, I'm Sudhi Gumi, the Director of Marketing at BizPortals Solutions, Coopers, PwC, focused on digital strategy and digital transformation projects. I think we're having some issues with, can everyone hear me okay? Yeah, is that better? Yeah. So as I was saying, I was previously with PwC, focused on digital strategy and digital transformation. And I'm joined by Anil Gursahani, who's our solutions lead. He leads our customer implementations. He has over 12 years of experience building and implementing internet and digital workplace solutions, and is an Office 365 and SharePoint expert. He will be providing the demo and answering your questions during the Q&A. Based in Orange County, Southern California. We also have offices in Boston, and Office 365 and SharePoint experts, product developers, customer success reps, and solution consultants. I mentioned we have our own BizPortals 365 product, so we provide a number of services and support around the product, including development and customization, setup using our product, but need Office 365 or SharePoint help, whether it be development, integration, or data migration services. We also have 15 years of experience developing internet and digital workplace solutions on SharePoint and Office 365. So we're experts in these areas as well as the Microsoft platform as a whole. And our customers range from small businesses to larger enterprises. And across industries as we can meet needs. Finally, we've been trusted Microsoft Gold partners for over 15 years as well. I'm just going to switch my This is better, everyone. Thank you. We like to start off with some specific challenges that we know businesses, including our customers, face as it really sets and solve and the business or the benefits in Office 365 Internet provide. So first, many businesses and customers of ours uses paper forms. So businesses still use paper forms for many day-to-day tasks like expense reimbursement, timesheet and time off approvals, and work and purchase orders.
So paper forms are inefficient. They waste time and easily get lost. Sorry, having trouble with our audio. And with paper forms, as I was mentioning, paper forms, there's really no good way or mechanism to store, track the status, or search for them. So paper forms are costly to a business in many ways. And then the next common challenge is manual processes, such as simple multi-step approvals, like if you need a document signed off from different stakeholders or managers, or manually inputting and keeping track of steps in a workflow from department to department, or business system to business system, or manually creating and distributing reports. So all of these examples of manual processes are time-consuming, make sharing and distributing information to your employees difficult, and are prone to error and miscommunication. The next common challenge is a lack of accountability and communication. So with paper forms and manual processes, it is hard to keep track of the status of a workflow. So for example, was this document or information reviewed and approved? Or who does this information need to go to next? Or who is this task assigned to? Or who is this task completed by? All these questions and things are hard to track, and information and tasks easily get lost as there's no recorded trail of activities. So it's hard to ensure accountability and proper communication. Then another challenge is lack of record keeping and compliance. So all of this becomes even more problematic for record keeping and compliance, as this also has to be manual. And if things get lost and aren't properly tracked, your record keeping and compliance is flawed and essentially non-existent. And then disparate systems. So workflows and tasks become even more complicated if you have disparate systems that are not talking to each other, and information has to be translated and transferred manually. So there is a business cost and time and energy cost to all of this. Lost time, admin costs, manual errors, lost productivity, and more, and all of which add a real burden to your employees and business. But you can simplify much of your day-to-day work where it matters and makes sense with business process automation using an Office 365 Internet. So now, how does business process automation with an Office 365 Internet solve these common challenges? First, an Office 365 Internet digitizes your paper forms, so you don't have to search, print, scan, and physically file these forms anymore. And then an Office 365 automates workflows from simple multi-step workflows like approving time off and purchase requests from your manager, HR, and finance to more complex workflows such as managing inventory, compliance, or IT help desk tickets. And then it automates reporting. So from creating, storing, and sharing reports, all of this can be automated with an Office 365 Internet, and you can create easy to digest graphs and visuals from data and reports as well. And then integration with other systems. So not common among Office 365 other internet products out there, but with BizPortal 365, you can connect, bring in, and automate workflows and reports from different business systems, such as your ERP and CRM, and house and share this information across the business in one place. And then you can ensure accountability, record keeping, and compliance with an Office 365 Internet. So all actions and activities can be tracked, and each process maintains a history, really making it easy to see who did what and who is responsible for the next steps. So your record keeping and filing of activities within a workflow are digitized. And for compliance, you can archive your activity and approval history and easily search and go back to that archive. So very powerful for businesses, especially for those businesses that have an audit and compliance need. And then in Office 365, Internet streamlines basic communication. In Office 365, Internet can track the progress of the workflows in a dashboard view to keep everyone informed and to avoid miscommunication. Also, you can integrate notifications, alerts, reminders, and instant messaging with your workflows so you can communicate with people and teams in the same place where you are initiating and tracking your workflows. So here are some common types and examples of processes, workflows, and tasks that can be automated on an Office 365 Internet. We group them into three main buckets: HR and admin, operations, and IT. So for HR, admin, and admin type tasks, you can digitize and automate your time off management, including timesheet approvals and time off requests, expense and purchase requests and approvals, invoice processing from invoice creation to tracking, employee onboarding and offboarding activities without having to burden HR and employee performance reviews. Then in terms of operations, you can digitize and automate your work orders and your inventory, quality and project management workflows, and financial reporting. And then in terms of IT, you can automate the creation and management of your IT help desk tickets, your user rights provisioning, creating and managing help desk cases. I mentioned that, and your systems monitoring and alerts, notifications, and IT reporting. So these are just some commonly used examples of business process automation on Office 365 within Office 365 Internet, but there are many more workflows you can implement using an Office 365 Internet. So to help see the difference between manual and automated process, let's look at a very simple example of an expense reimbursement form that needs the managers and the finance and accounting department's approval. So as you can see, there are many manual steps and touch points for even a simple workflow such as this. You have to first locate the updated form, print it, fill it out manually, and attach the receipt and scan and send it to your manager or physically hand it to them for them to sign. Then it needs to be passed on via email or hard copy to the finance department for their approval. Then importantly, they have to record and file it for accounting purposes. The problem here is this process is inefficient. It takes more time than it needs to. And importantly, there's an increased chance that things can get lost in email or unable to track the status of even a simple workflow like this. Also, you're likely to have to send a few email reminders and follow-ups to make sure the form gets approved and processed. But within Office 365 Internet, you automate this process. You can easily find and initiate the form because it's in one central searchable place. You fill out the form and submit the digital form with the purchase receipt. It is automatically sent to your manager with a notification. Your manager can then easily approve it with the click of a button. Then it's automatically routed to the finance department. They approve it and have it digitally recorded and stored with the click of a button, so that then they can easily go back to it if needed, especially if, again, for audit and compliance. And along the way, you can see the status of the workflow, receive reminders and notifications as needed, and every action is recorded and tracked, and a history of activity is maintained. All of this with just a few clicks of a button. So now this was just a very simple example. Now take this across the many processes and workflows across your business, whether it be admin related, HR, operational, compliance, and from business system to business system. Then you can see how powerful business process automation within Office 365 Internet is. And an Office 365 Internet can fill many of the gaps where you need business automation to run your business more efficiently, smoothly, and more productively. So now let's talk more about what an Office 365 Internet as a product and solution for those that are not familiar, and how an Office 365 Internet has built-in business process automation. So an Office 365 Internet is an Internet solution built for and on the Office 365 and SharePoint framework, and instantly connects to your Office 365 environment. So it is ideal for businesses on Office 365. An Office 365 Internet solution extends the Office 365 and SharePoint framework with one, enhanced and more flexible usability. You will see what that looks like in the demo. And then two, an Office 365 Internet delivers a lot more functionality. So it adds on and enhances the features that come out of the box with Office 365 and SharePoint. But with BizPortal 365, what we've done is we've extended the functionality even further beyond what we call typical internet features. So then it includes robust built-in features for project management, forms management, and automation, and HR employee management that can really stand alone as separate solutions, but are fully integrated within your intranet, allowing our customers to replace and consolidate their existing tools, an added benefit. So with BizPortal 365, we've extended Office 365 Intranet, the typical kind of what you see out there, into a more comprehensive business-enabled Intranet solution. And then three, with BizPortal 365, we have built-in integration with Office 365 tools to bring in key functionality into one solution and one unified experience, rather than using them as separate standalone tools. And these integrations are ready to go for you to use. So we have built-in integration with Microsoft Flow. So Flow is a powerful, easy-to-use tool to automate your workflows from simple to complex. With the built-in integration with Flow, you can do many things with Flow, from configuring your alerts and approvals to modeling complex multi-stage processes. Then we have integration with Outlook for email integration, so you can get email notifications on important company and project news, upcoming task deadlines, document updates, approvals, and more. OneDrive for your file storage. Teams and Yammer for team discussions and real-time team communication. Planner to supplement your task management. And then Power BI to make data and reports easy to digest and understand with graphs, visuals, and dashboards. So these are just some key Office 365 tools and functionality that are integrated within our solution and in one unified experience. And then four, with BizPortal 365, we enable the ability to integrate with other business applications, your CRM and ERP, for example, to bring and distribute data and reports and bring in workflows from these external systems. Then, since it's built off of the Office 365 SharePoint framework, and Office 365 Internet in general directly and instantly connects to your Office 365 and SharePoint environment. So really imagine it as another tool in your Office 365 toolset. And of course, it is cloud and web-based and is equipped with enterprise-grade security. So now, how do you get started with business process automation if you're on Office 365? So if you're on or looking to move to Office 365, you really have two main options. So option one, the first one is to build business process automation on Office 365 on your own. But however, it is costly and time-consuming to do it. So taking an example of a form, it takes time to plan the specifics of a workflow. Like for your forms, you have to design the form and document the routing and workflow. Then it requires some Office 365 and SharePoint skills to implement the form and workflow. And it does involve some coding and then some Q&A on your end to make sure it's all working properly. So this option does require more time, money, and resources and increased risk, as there's more pressure on you to get it right, given the time and money you're spending as you're doing it kind of basically on your own. But if you have the time, the dollars, and skills in-house to build business process automation on Office 365, this could be the way to go for you. But if you, like most businesses, don't have the time, dollars, or rather spend time and resources on other priority items, a turnkey, ready-made Office 365 Internet like BizPortal 365 could be a better solution for you. So this is really is option two. So with BizPortal 365, as I kind of mentioned, we have ready-made forms and workflows that you can use. We have built-in and integrated many common forms, workflows, and integrations. So the backbone of business process automation is already there and ready for you to use for your most common day-to-day needs. And then if needed, we can easily, since the backbone is there, customize the forms and workflows to your needs because, again, the infrastructure is already built in and set up. So you avoid recreating the wheel and reduce the risk of going at it on your own and spending the time and money doing so. And importantly, with BizPortal 365, you get a comprehensive, feature-rich internet that serves as your employee hub with your documents, company news and announcements, forms, projects, and more, all streamlined and organized in one place. And then in Office 365, as it enhances the usability and kind of with intuitive UI, it's easy to use. Doesn't require any special skills or IT resources to set up and maintain. For BizPort 365 product, we do all of that for you, and it's quick to set up within days, and it's cost effective compared to building such a solution on your own. And then also we provide regular product and feature updates, so you don't have to worry about your internet becoming old and obsolete, which is a common problem among intranets. So you really get a quick ROI with minimal investment. So this option could be very well the most cost-effective and efficient way for most businesses on Office 365. So hopefully what I just went through gives you some key takeaways on what you can do with business process automation with an Office 365 internet. And then now Anil will bring all of this to life with the demo.
Hi, everyone. Sorry for the audio problems. Let's see. I hope you can hear me clearly now. If any issues still, please let me know. Okay. So I'm going to go on, and if you still feel that there's an issue with the audio, please let me know. All right. So hope you can see my screen now, and let's begin with demonstration of BizPortals 365. This is our SharePoint-based intranet platform, and today's agenda is to walk you through some business process automation using our tool. As Sudhi mentioned, again, some sections probably you did not hear because of the audio issues we are having with GoToWebinar, but basically automation is of three main types. One is digitizing forms. That's a no-brainer for every business. You want to digitize your forms and your business processes and really take it through a review and approval process internally in your organization. So that's one type of automation. The second one is action-based automation. That is really based on some pre-existing rules that you want to define in a tool, and then as you take some action, certain things get into motion, workflow kicks in. So we'll talk a little bit about that. And the third one is a full automation that is, for example, tasks getting created. If you have employee onboarding set up, what you can do is basically once a task gets finished, someone executes a task and he finishes it, then the subsequent task gets created at that point in time and gets assigned also. So different levels of automation with Office 365 and our products. Okay. So what we are going to go ahead and talk about is the first one. That is, let's go through our forms. With our intranet solution, we provide about 8 to 10 out-of-the-box forms. And let's go through one of the most commonly used ones, simple time-off request form. Okay. So with our time-off request, I'm logged in as Alex. He's going to submit a time-off, and he's just going to choose a date. Maybe it's, let's say, Monday of next week. He simply comes in here. It's a vacation. It's the entire day. He puts in 8 hours. Now, as you can see, the reviewer is Isaiah. In this case, Isaiah is his boss too. So Alex goes ahead, fills this forms in, and submits it. Okay. So a very simple initiation of a workflow. So the form is successfully initiated now. And now I'm just going to switch over for a minute to Isaiah's login. So this is Isaiah's logged in to the intranet. What we provide is a very good view of all the forms that are submitted. So this is a form center. As you can see, Isaiah is looking at his forms that have been submitted and a couple of them to be approved also here. Okay. So in this case, he could come here, bring up the form, and this is, I think, a form that was just submitted a while back from Alex, and he could see the information, and he could go ahead and simply approve this. Okay, so it's as simple as that. Also, what Isaiah would get is in his inbox, And this is again a demo instance. You can see there are notifications that get initiated here. So he could come here and initiate the form from this link too, right? And he gets all the information right here. So great way to automate this. And once ICA would come in, approve this form, then it would get into HR. Similar notifications sent to HR, they would come to the form center and be able to process the form. So this is a very simple form of business process automation using forms. Going back to Alex's login, as I said, we have time off requests. We have other great forms here, one of them being the IT help desk, as Sudhi mentioned earlier in the presentation, that your entire IT help desk process could be brought in here. So submission of tickets, processing it, and then, basically getting to the root cause. IT looks at it, resolves the issues, puts the comments in, submits it back. So this could greatly reduce all your emails and give you a resolution to these, right? So we have IT help desk forms. We also give you a RFP, that is a request for purchase, some mileage reimbursements, expense reimbursement forms, all out of the box. Again, we understand every customer has their unique needs for forms, and we can help you design these forms. But essentially, what we do is with this, we can really come in and digitize all your forms and all your business processes that you would want. Okay, so a very simple form of automation. Now, moving on to the next level, I'm assuming most of you have Office 365. One of the apps that are available with Office 365 based on your subscription level, or you can subscribe to it ad hoc, is Flow, Microsoft Flow. And let's go ahead and briefly look at Flow here. Okay, so this is Flow. And again, if you want more details around this, you can always schedule a one-on-one demo with us, and we'd be happy to walk you through more details. But essentially, with what Microsoft Flow does is enable all kinds of workflows. It comes with a slew of templates, and let me just go through those screens. So it gives you all these templates, pre-built templates. This is a great form of getting started on your automation activities. Okay, so we're just going to go through a couple of them. So again, with Alex logged in as a user, he would come in, set up a flow, and I'll walk through a very simple one. Let's say you want to create a task. You get a lot of emails. You want to flag them. You want to get back to them. That's great. You can do that in Microsoft Outlook. But however, you want to go ahead and create some tasks in Microsoft Planner. And the reason we are showing you other tools is really to give you an understanding of the power of Office 365, and not only our product, this portal, but really Office 365. So with this, you could create a task when you flag an email in Office 365. Okay, so with this, what I mean to say is, let's say Alex has his inbox and he has got some data sheets, and he goes ahead and flags this message. Okay, he has just flagged it. Now, again, Planner, I'm assuming you have used this or you're familiar. It's a lightweight project management tool. But essentially in Planner, as you can see, you have this hub where you have your flagged email workflow setup, and then you go to your My Tasks view, and you can see that now you have all these tasks that are created, which are not started, but you can come in and then work on these, right? So this happened by just using Microsoft Flow, and this task creation happened because of that flow that we just saw. The other one is, let's say you want to, on the same note, you want to copy some emails because there are a lot of details in those into OneNote. Okay, so you want to flag an email and you want to put that content of that in OneNote. OneNote, again, is another app you use for taking notes in Office 365. So we have gone ahead and created that rule here. Right? So with OneNote, the same thing, you would flag an email, and I'm just logged in now again to Alex's OneNote, and you can see you start getting all the emails that have been flagged show up here. Okay, so a great way to get all your emails in here. All right, so this is a next level of automation that is again based on some pre-existing rules. You can create your flows. Coming to our product, ours is a SharePoint product. Obviously, there are a lot of department sites, project sites, a lot of documents that could be stored. So let's say in our marketing department, one of our sites of our BIS portals, let's say you had a lot of documents in here. Now you want to be able to set up some flows around this. And what we have gone ahead is done is get a push notification. That is, you want to be notified when a new file is added in SharePoint. We won't walk through all of these, but just to give you a sense of the kind of automations we can do. So you could say that as soon as someone drops a document in a specific document library on an intranet, you want to be notified. So as soon as you would drop it here, you would get an email notification, and you'll be able to see that. Okay, so that is another example of business process automation. So with all of these, I think you get a sense of how Flow can be used. Again, if you want more details around using these applications in Office 365, or you would want more details on our intranet, feel free to get hold of us. Okay, now moving on back to our BIS Portals 365. So outside of these, we also have a very robust project management feature built in. And with project management, really, there's a lot of automation possibilities. As you can see, this is a project portfolio view of one of our sites. So let's get into one of the project sites, and I'll just give you an example of a task. So with project management, you can definitely create tasks. You can have issues, risks documented for the project. Now, you would want to create some level of automation around projects here, right? Because ideal way of running a project is you would come into the task list here, and as you can see, you have a bunch of task lists. Now, you could come here, set all these up, and then assign it to different people. They would come in and execute these tasks, but you would ideally want these tasks to be automatically created. Okay. Again, that is something that I'm not going to necessarily show it real time, but essentially think of your project execution, task execution, done automatically, that you don't have to populate a project with 100 tasks, but really on certain tasks, let's say you start with 3 or 4, but you write rules behind it, and then based on those execution of those tasks, you could have new ones created and assigned to people. So it's really the next level of project execution that you can do with our product. Okay, and a combination of our product and Microsoft Flow. All right. Okay, so with this, I think in terms of the demonstration, I wanted to just touch on these points. I want to make sure that you have enough time to put in your questions, if you have any, and we'll try to answer your questions there. Let me just go and see what existing questions that are there. Just a minute. All right. So with this, let me see. There's one question in that has come in. Can a process be connected to other cloud services? Yes, you can connect. You can integrate. You can connect to a host of cloud services, including Yammer. Let's say you're using Twitter, Box for your documents and so on, and other applications. You can also easily add web services to workflows without writing any code, and publish these workflows coupled with forms, and then collaborate with external vendors and partners as you need to. Okay, so definitely, yes, it could be workflow, could be connected to other services. All right, next one is how do we automate specific forms? Okay, that we use for HR. All right, so all organizations, as I said, they're unique in some respect. So people always have this question on how versatile is Office 365 for automating processes. Definitely, you can automate your specific forms. It just requires a little bit of knowledge, expertise to understand all the specific features of the platform, but you can implement multi-level approval processes. That means a form can proceed from one person to the next in a chain, and also along this process, you could have people comment on the forms, for example. Okay, so with automation, you can also create dashboards on the platform as a starting point for employees, such as leave and expense requests. You can allow employees to go back, update their submitted forms. You can access departments' Active Directory information to pre-populate forms with their personal information. You can integrate with existing systems such as financial services or ERP platforms. Okay. All right. Next question is, does your product provide a document approval process? Yes, it does. It does provide a document approval process. It has a built-in mechanism to attach an approval workflow with the document. And then when the approval workflow starts, email is sent to the reviewer, person reviews the document. He can either approve or reject the document. And then, in any case, an email is sent to the author always. And then author can make appropriate edits, resubmit the document. And once the document is fully approved, the whole team could be notified also. So yes, our product does provide that, and that is one of the base features of SharePoint also. All right, next question is, if you are to obtain, this Portal 365 solution, what is a typical training period for getting started? Thanks for this question. So based on, that's a difficult one to answer because there are many factors, such as, how many employees do you have? Also, what features you're going to be using of the product. So what we recommend is an incremental approach to this deployment. First, get all the people onboarded, let them start doing the simple things such as, let's say time off forms, some expense reimbursements. This will help them move ahead with using the product, and then slowly put some policies in place for document storage and sharing. Then you can build some automation around that. But definitely, in terms of our training, we provide customer training that is for all end users. Once every 2 weeks, you can attend those sessions. We also onboard you using some online meetings, about 3 to 4. So in about 2 weeks, you're up and running, definitely on your toe. Okay. All right. Let me just see the questions. Okay. Okay. One more. In terms of, I think there's a question about project management automation. Yes, I briefly touched on it. So with project management automation, we touched on tasks. But really, if you wanted reports, for example, reports generated from your projects and be automatically emailed or probably integrated with some other time and billing systems, right? We could do that. Definitely, yes, that's possible. And again, I would encourage you to, schedule some one-on-one time, and we could have more discussions on that. All right. So what is the pricing of your solution? Well, pricing, we have several tiers of pricing. It all depends on the number of users. I think if you go to a site, you can see the pricing there. But again, we can work with you based on your immediate needs and the number of users that you have. All right. Okay. I'll just take the last question. There are a couple more, but we'll get back to you via email. The last question is, how is security handled in the cloud? Great question, though not extremely pertinent to this webinar, but I'll just try to answer that. Basically, in the cloud, security is handled using Microsoft, you do understand you're on the Microsoft platform. So obviously all the information in terms of storage of documents, your OneNote and everything is encrypted. Your emails are encrypted, and it's encrypted also when it's just sitting there stored in the cloud, or whether it is in transit within Office 365. It is all encrypted. So security is a top concern for a lot of people, but it's handled by Microsoft. And then, there are additional compliance policies that you can set up, also using Office 365 compliance there. And a lot of information on this is available directly from Microsoft. Again, if you have some specific questions, you can get back to us. All right. Okay, guys. So thanks a lot for this. And I hope you just got a brief idea, at least an overview of our product, how it handles business process automation. Again, we would love to be in touch with you and see if you need this in the future. Okay. Thank you.